CM 365, all about Carnatic music. In the history of music, we see that there are some unique composers who, by composing one particular single composition, they become remembered for posterity, and that particular composition is of the greatest value in Carnatic music itself. Yes, I am here referring to Sri Pachimariam Adiyapayya, who is the composer of the Viriboni Varnam, which you would have heard many times, like Viriboni. So this Varnam we also teach students as well. You must have heard it in concerts also. It's absolutely a monumental composition, I would say. And here what is important is that though we come to know of Pachimariam Adiyapayya only through his one particular composition that he composed, this is enough to actually prove his musicianship, I would say, in terms of how much of knowledge he had about music and how he has put all this knowledge into one particular composition. And here we see that the whole essence of Bhairavi has literally been poured into this composition by him. So we keep mentioning his name, but I thought I'll share some more details about who this person is and when did he actually live. This composer actually, Pachimariam Adiyapayya, he lived during the reign of Pratapa and Tulaja, the kings who were there in Tanjore. We see that it was during the reign of these two kings that this particular musician was there. And he was basically a Madhava Karnataka Brahmin, and he attained high proficiency. It is said that he attained high proficiency in Telugu and Sangeeta, and that is obviously evident from his Bhairavi Adatala Varnam. His scholarship over music, anybody in the field of music, they would say that trying to understand this Bhairavi Varnam and sing it properly to its best is actually a Herculean task, a lifetime journey, I would say, in terms of discovering. Because again, here also in Bhairavi, you see that as you gain experience in life and you get to understand more about ragas, you are able to see more depth into this particular composition. And we also here, this name strikes a chord as he was the guru of Shama Shastri, and it is contended that the art of singing aspects like Alapana, Madhyama Kala and Pallavi, all these were perfected by Sri Pachimariam Adiyapayya. He was also an exponent of the Veena. He used to play Veena well, and he has incorporated in the Varnam. We see that this is reflected also, probably his being adept in Veena playing is well reflected in this particular Bhairavi Varnam, the composition, where we see that there are attractive prayogas of the raga that are characterized by very subtle gamakas. That is very important here in this particular Bhairavi Varnam. What we see is that different kinds of gamakas in their most subtle details are incorporated by him in this composition. The Viriboni Varnam, we could say, is the essence of the raga Bhairavi, and it contains as such all the possibilities and the characteristics of the ragam, and employing all those dynamic subtleties of the tones. That is also very important. We talk about raga, then we talk about the notes, the gamakas, and within the gamakas, what are the subtle shades that can be shown about Bhairavi. These are also well reflected in his composition. And Subbrama Dikshadhar actually refers to him as Tana Varna Marga Darshi. That is another name given to, or rather a title kind of thing given to Pachimariam Adiyapayya. And in the notation of the Varna given, we also see that interestingly, there is a Anubandha, that is after the whole Varna is completed, there is another additional section. This was there in many Varnas in the earlier times. Now we don't see this Anubandha as part of the Varnas, but earlier we see another section called the Anubandham, and the Bhairavi Varnam also has an Anubandha. But later on, due to reasons unknown, this Anubandha was removed, and now we don't sing that as part of the Bhairavi Varnam as such. But it was earlier there. And this Varna, we could say as such, is a short. In short, it's a beautiful epitome of the Raga Bhairavi, and Also, interestingly, as I said, there is no other composition of this particular composer available to us. So that way I would say that we are very, very fortunate in terms of the fact that this Bhairavi Varnam that he composed to us has come down to us very safely, I would say. And among the Varnas, we could say that this is one of the king among the Varnas, in the sense that if you look at Bhairavi and you want to learn all about Bhairavi, its nuances, its raga, the prayogas, the sancharas, this particular composition itself is adequate for us to understand Bhairavi in its entirety.
CM 365, all about Carnatic music.